Drive Energy Live Wednesday edition. Look at us back in studio together again. Today we're going to talk about Mike Weir making some comments regarding this upcoming President's Cup in September. Not as much hype around the President's Cup as the Ryder Cup, but still a nice little European, well, actually that's incorrect. International U.S. matchup. There's some new investors on the PGA Tour. A lot of money.
The PGA Tour.
Yes, into the PGA Tour product. We're going to discuss that. We also have a Fairway or Fore, and we're going to discuss some unwritten rules in golf. I saw a post on Instagram, kind of sparked a little thought in me. THOUGHT.
Yeah.
The other thought in me is
that's a bigger thought.
That's buried.
That's
for
a
long
big
time.
thought.
But we're going to discuss all of that and more, finishing up with a Fairway or Fore. Let's tee it up.
You sound like a nursery rhymer.
I'm a nursery rhymer. Fairway or Fore?
Finish or
what did I say?
I don't know.
I said
and more. Fairway or Fore.
Yeah. Dr. Seuss over here.
How are you doing, Big Shooter? We had a good time at the Avs game last night.
I'm still. Oh boy, talk for a second. I'm gonna sneeze.
I had a great birthday. I had a lot of fun between New York City this last weekend, and then bless you. That was not held back whatsoever.
Hungover sneezes hit different.
Oh yeah, dude, you were hammered. It was hilarious.
Yeah, so we went to the Avs game last night. A little birthday present to Mitchell. Watched the Avs put up a touchdown and an extra point. Cale Makar hat trick. I'll out myself right now. Out both of us. We didn't throw our hats.
Yeah, and I think we've discussed this before, but throwing a hat is, I wouldn't say it's lame. It would be fun to throw a hat, but first of all, if you go back to last week's pod, you realize that neither of us look great without a hat on, so that's part of it. But then also, nobody thinks to wear a shitty hat to throw on the ice in case of a hat trick. Like, you wear a nice hat that, we have vast hat collections, but you have specific Avalanche hats that you like to wear. And so, yeah, I just didn't feel like throwing it on the ice. And it was funny. Just people missing the ice. And also we're behind the net. I'm not trying to make even more excuses here, but we're behind the net to the point where we would have to throw it in the little gap where they open up the doors for the ice people to come out and skate around. So it just wasn't worth the shot. I felt like it was going to end up in somebody else's lap, and then they would just have my hat.
Yeah, exactly. And I told the guy behind me, I was like, dude, you don't want my bald blinding you for the rest of the game, so I'm going to keep this fucking hat on. Also, I'm very particular. Maybe I need to start. This is my second hat trick that I've ever witnessed. The first one was Gabe Landeskog, ironically.
Okay.
Which you wouldn't think
years ago then?
Yeah, it was a while ago, but I have two Avs hats. I wore one every game the entire year that they won the cup. So I've retired that hat, bought basically the same exact hat, just a different colorway, and I wear that to every single game. So I felt necessary to keep it on and not throw it. It was funny because our consistent gate guy, I don't know what he's called, our section guy that always checks our tickets, greeter. Yeah. He always comes up with a safe word, if you will, that allows us to get back down to our seats without having to show him our tickets. He's very strict, but when he knows us and gives us the safe word, last night it was popcorn. So we had to say popcorn. I feel fucking lame every time I do it, but it's,
Yeah, you feel like you're in elementary school. You're like, yeah, popcorn? And he's like, oh, yeah, good one.
Oh, fuck. He's like, oh, is that the word tonight?
You're like proud that I remembered it. And then by the third period, we were probably loading up popcorn.
Yeah.
He's like, what was that?
The Coors Lights were flowing last night.
We had the Coors Lights.
Shot and a beer.
Beer and a shot, beer and a shot, beer and a shot, beer and a shot. The vodka, no free shout outs, but Pink Whitney's a great vodka shot to take just quickly. Sometimes whiskey can be a little heavy if you're just not wanting to get weighed down, and you're on the move. A little vodka will do you. So we were just having a bunch of Coors Lights and a few shots of Pink Whitney. And yeah, my stomach is in such a bad place today. I had a baked potato for dinner. That's thinking
Yeah, we
back
had to
on
walk
it.
halfway around Ball Arena just to find you a fucking baked potato.
That's not
mid
true at
first
all. I
grade.
knew exactly where it was. It's right in front of the entry of the main entry of Ball Arena.
Yeah, but from where our seats are, we had to walk halfway around the stadium to get you that
Yeah.
specific baked potato.
Yeah, and honestly, like an undercooked baked potato fucking sucks. And I think it was legitimately I tipped her like $1.50, $2. It was a $20 baked potato.
Yeah,
Like that's disgusting. Inflation is officially gone too far when you're paying $20 for a baked potato with some shitty nacho cheese and some bacon crumbles. And you have to like ask for sour cream. Is it weird? Like, okay, so I know you're not a dairy guy, so you don't like sour cream, but I feel like Marissa, sour cream should come standard on a baked potato.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that's butter, sour cream, cheese, bacon bits, green onion. That's my baked potato order. Instead, they put nacho cheese on it. It's disgusting, and it's just been wreaking havoc on my stomach this morning. Like, it's been working overtime in there. It's fucking terrible. So I've eaten a yogurt, and now I'm drinking a Gatorade, and hopefully I can make it through this podcast. Also, I have to give a quick shout out to this T-shirt. No free shout outs, but I actually found it on TikTok shop. So I'm a shopaholic. Me and Spencer both. No, I'm actually not a shopaholic. He is. But I just want to show, if you're watching on the YouTube, look at this shirt because this is legendary.
Big Drive Energy Golf. Oh, we're getting a full body.
Oh, yeah,
God, he's getting in front of the camera.
Full frontal. Yeah.
Little Hooters Country Club. Home of the original Skins tournament really does.
Fire golf shirt. Fire.
Oh, God. This is a disaster.
Yeah, that's a wide load in front of the camera.
That's a
Can't
lot.
fit it all in front of the camera.
That's why we have to sit back here. Great shirt, and I'll compliment my own shirt today because it's the Arnold Palmer one and the
Yes.
Arnold Palmer Invitational.
I
I'm
think
super on brand today.
You've legitimately had that shirt for like 12 years.
Yeah, I have, and I'm in a.
I'm impressed that you fit into it. Like,
Well,
I'm
I will
not knocking
say
you.
I've reopened a bit of my wardrobe due to the weight loss since 2024 started, between being sick, sticking to a gym plan, and doing a whole 30 diet for 30 days. I'm back into the schmeeds and the larges.
Okay.
So I've unlocked a little bit of the closet again.
Yeah, I need to just get sick for like a month. No, I just need long COVID. Then I'll
Not
be back.
just standard COVID, long COVID.
Yeah, that shit can't go away in 5 days. I need it for like 3 months. No, but I have lost a little bit of weight so far this year. I don't know how much because I don't believe in weighing myself because that's just a road I don't want to go down. It's fucking.
That's what everybody says that doesn't want to weigh themselves.
Yeah, 100%.
I don't believe in it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, exactly. Like anybody that doesn't want to do something, they just say they don't believe in it, so then nobody can question them. But no, realistically, like you can tell how you feel, and I do feel better. But I have noticed that it's made me I can't drink quite as much and not have the same effect. So and obviously when you don't eat, like last week we went to the bar out in New Jersey and I had like 2 drinks and like a birthday shot with Missy's friend, and we were riding home and Missy's like, "Are you fucking hammered?" I was like, "Yes, I am." Like I just had 2 cocktails and a shot, and usually that's like not much for me, but I hadn't really eaten much that day, and you know it sneaks up on you when you're not eating. So, but I actually enjoy it. Like this is kind of sounds bad, but I like catching that good buzz on an empty stomach. Like that shit hits different.
Yeah, when you just start to catch the first, like after the first drink's consumed and then you're into the second one and you start feeling it, I'm like, oh yeah, this is
When
good.
when that liquor starts hitting like tingling your legs, that's when you know shit's going down. That's when it hits. Marissa, you were also at the Avs game last night. You had a good time?
I did. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. We were surrounded by other fans that were
Red
very
Wings?
drunk.
Oh.
Yes. Well, both, but
There
yes.
was a lot of Red Wings.
There
fans.
was. I got ice cream. That was exciting.
You didn't drink?
I did get a drink. I did not finish my drink.
Oh my god. That is also sacrilegious when you're spending $20 on a drink, you got to finish that shit.
Yes, I was lectured on the way home, but so it's just they're too
Christian
big.
had every right.
Well, they're too big.
The beer?
Yes.
Yeah, the beers are very large. I prefer, here's another hot take, and Spencer got on this train with me last night. I prefer a draft beer over a canned beer. Like, if I have the chance to have a draft beer, I'd pick draft 10 times out of 10. Because the carbonation of drinking out of a can, it like gives me the hiccups sometimes, and it just feels like it fills me up more. Like, I feel like a draft can breathe a little bit easier, and so there's less carbonation and it goes down quicker.
Oh, draft beer is definitely, that's not even a hot take, is definitely better than canned or bottled beer. But at a game, I like to get a can because it just feels safer with my spilling habits and setting it down and picking it up. If you knock it over, which I tend to do almost every single game I'm at some point, if it's in a can, you're only losing like maybe a couple ounces. If it's in a glass, that thing's empty. You're headed right back up to the bar.
Well, and the dude in front of us had his jacket like draped over the seat, and he had like dog hair on his jacket, and we had like draft beers in the cup holders. I was definitely a little off put by that. I was probably ingesting some border collie hair in my beer last night. But speaking of spilling, a lady dumped a beer all over me on my plane ride back to Colorado yesterday.
What a disaster. I was livid.
Fucking pissed. So she sits down and immediately like wants to talk. She'd been drinking since I got her whole story. I asked her why she's coming to Colorado. She's like, oh, my husband and I are building a house in Aspen. That was like the first sentence that came out of her mouth. I was like, Jesus. She had like a fur coat on, and I'm sitting in economy plus here. Like, you know, I'm not in the back of the plane.
Big shoots.
I'm not in the back of the plane, but I'm also not in the front. I'm slightly preferential with my silver status on United. Not a big deal. But she's sitting next to me, and I'm like, what are you doing? And then she tells me she missed a flight at 6 a.m. And she actually told me she was supposed to be first class. I'm like, thank you for specifying that you were going to be in first class, because that helped me sleep so well last night, just knowing that. But then she keeps going and going. And basically she got to the airport at like 7 a.m. and started drinking, and we didn't take off till almost 2. So she was sufficiently hammered. And she orders a beer on the flight and is watching a movie, and I think falls asleep and then like wakes herself up and just backhands her beer right into my lap and fucking soaked my leg. I was like, oh my God. And she was very like remorseful, but she honestly like didn't feel like if I would have done that to somebody else, I would have crawled into a ball and like died.
Yeah.
I would want to not exist on this earth anymore.
Whenever I get a drink on the plane, I almost like immediately chug it, or I chug the cup, and if they give you the can with it as well, I keep it in the can until I'm ready to drink again, because the tight spaces for drinking and having food and paraphernalia out on it's a spill city.
Yeah. And so she definitely did that. Didn't offer me a drink or anything,
or a weekend in the house in Aspen.
Yeah, I should have been like, well, just give me a couple weeks in Aspen and we'll call it a wash. But yeah, that was it. And I smelled like beer. That was the worst part, is when you get beer on you, and I wasn't even drinking. You know, somebody would be like, you fucking hammered? And I'll be like, no, lady just poured beer on me. But it was
the cop would say, sure, fucking get out.
Yeah.
Put your hands on the
fucking
the side of the car.
Walk the line, motherfucker. Yeah. So that wouldn't have gone well for me. Luckily, I didn't have to drive anywhere. But yeah, just an unfortunate circumstance. Flying is already inconvenient enough, and then people just don't give a fuck about their surroundings. So, and then she started talking to me, and she just wanted to keep talking, and then there's this other lady on the aisle, and see, I'm never.
Oh, you're in middle seat?
No, I was on the window. She was in the middle. I was on the window. Other lady was on the aisle. This other lady was such a fucking germaphobe. She used like 5 of those hand towel, like you know, they give you those when you get on the plane.
Yeah.
I got a fucking headache from all her little hand towels. She's wiping everything down, and then she'd go to the bathroom and wipe everything down again. Like,
when she got back.
Yes. Oh my God, dude. It was a nightmare. But yeah, I mean, overall, flying. I'm not as bad. I'm a pretty good flyer. I don't have a problem with it, but just so many people Do you ever look at somebody when they're flying and you're like, you chose to wear that on a flight? Like, I saw this dude in a t-shirt that said, in my defense, I was left unsupervised. And it was like a grown man. It was like a 50-year-old dude. I'm like, why are you wearing that t-shirt on a plane? Like, is he going to be the one that tries to open the exit door? Like, is he going to pull some shit on this flight? And that's why I wore this t-shirt. But yeah, it just blows my mind seeing what people wear on planes.
Oh, 100%. I'm the one that I wear the same hoodie every time I'm on the plane. And so it's like my plane hoodie. And the only reason I have that is because it has a little pocket in the main pocket that's zipped up. So I can put my AirPods in there, my phone, whatever. And I know it's always in there because I have lost an individual AirPod once on the plane. So I don't want that to ever happen again. I'm only going to be wearing the same hoodie on the plane. Super comfortable, big. And I like to wear a hoodie on the plane because it allows me to put my hands somewhere and then like kind of fall asleep, but they're not all over somebody else's space.
Totally.
Put the hood up, go to sleep like I usually, when I'm not flying with my kid, that's immediate sleep. But when it's with him, it's a little different story. Unless I can get him to sleep, then it's ideal. But yeah, the people that wear those like Walmart branded shirts that
like
say
catchy,
things, like I imagine at some point I'll wear one of those, unfortunately. But like one time I saw a guy at the airport, he had the shirt on that said like gym since 1971, fiance since 1985.
Oh my, yeah, just like one of those things.
Husband since 1986.
It's like an Etsy
Papa
shirt
since 1995. I'm like, are you fucking serious?
Oh my god. Yeah, there was a really funny shirt that actually my girlfriend got me, and it has to do with like beaver. It says like it's like a beaver trapping thing, but then it's like been slamming beeves since fucking 1976 or some shit. It's a very funny shirt. But anywho, actually one other thing before we get into golf here. On my plane ride out, this chick, she was on the aisle, I was in the window. There's nobody in the middle. She put all of her shit in the middle seat.
Oh, she big dicked you right off the hop.
Yeah, she fucking I was dommed.
You were Mr. Sub.
Yeah, I was passive bottom on that one. But then we slow down like as we're descending and land, and you know they slow down very hardcore, like you're fucking going really fast, you gotta brake.
Yeah.
All her shit, her phone like flies, and she was kind of she's a bitch. Like she seemed like it. I couldn't really tell. I didn't talk to her, but just from what I could tell,
she had the massive RBF the whole
flight.
Flight.
Yeah, exactly. And
looks
she's
like
just
something stank around her.
Yeah, she was just correct. She was just kind of giving me looks, and I just didn't really like her. And then her shit flies off the seat, and then she looks over at me like it's my like I like all of a sudden I need to help her, and her fucking phone is like 3 rows up under some other dude's seat.
That's the worst.
And she's like looking at me. She's like, "Do you see it under?" I'm like, "What do you? I'm just sitting here, lady. This is all your shit that you decided to sit on this seat. This is your problem now." But yeah, that was funny. I was like, "Why is this all of a sudden my problem? Like you've wanted nothing to do with me this entire flight, and now all your shit's strewn all over the airplane, and you want my help?"
Yeah, no free help there.
No,
I'd be out on that.
I was like, I'm gonna sit here and just wait to deboard the plane.
I'm
You
just
figure out your
staring
shit, man.
straight forward, headphones in, don't even fucking catch an eye.
Exactly.
You know what? We don't need that.
We don't need that shit.
All right, let's talk about the PGA Tour and its new investors. First, want to tell you guys about our great friends over at Coors Light. When you need a second to chill, find a Coors Light. We needed a minute to chill last night. The Red Wings got up on the Avs, but we were hammering the Coors Lights. It felt great, and then all of a sudden it turned into a complete boat race job by the Avalanche. So that was awesome. But Coors Light has been our favorite beer for a long time. They're obviously a new partner here at ALLCITY. Make sure if you need a second to chill, go check out Coors Light. You can also get it delivered straight to your door with Instacart by going to CoorsLight.com/DNVR. Celebrate responsibly. Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. Also want to tell you about our great friends over at Bet365. Bet365, use the code ALLCITY when you sign up, and you have the choice of 2 separate offers. You can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets, or you get a $1,000 first bet safety net. That means you get to bet up to $1,000, and if it loses, you get that bet in free bets, bonus bets, back to take a second shot. It's like missing a shot, getting a rebound, putting it right back in, Nikola Jokic style. They have a ton of awesome boosts every single week when we log in to bet on golf. We get our guy boosted usually up to like 30%. So they do profit boosts on golf. They also have the each way bets, which we use all the time. In fact, let's check out how our guys are doing right now. It's Thursday. We normally record on Wednesday. We did very late night when we got home from the Avs game. We put out our picks so that when they inevitably don't win, at least we had them out before the tournament started. So we've got a couple picks for you guys this week. Cam Young is even par through 7 holes. All right. Keegan Bradley, 1 under par, finished his Thursday round. Jason Day, 2 under par.
Hey.
Good start at the Arnold Palmer Invitational. And Matt Fitzpatrick is 2 over par through 11 holes. Right now, the leaders, Justin Lauer and Hideki Matsuyama at 5 under. So this is a tournament, Bay Hill, where the winner, I think last year was 11 under. So it's a lot less birdies
It's
made.
a tough golf course.
Tough golf course. Scotty Scheffler was right on brand this morning. Got a new putter in the bag. He put a spider in there, and he is now missing putts just like usual. First hole, he hits to like 6 feet. Probably gained about a stroke on the field just from tee to green like he always does. And with the putter, just completely didn't even hit the hole. I don't necessarily feel bad for the dude because if he could putt, he would be unbelievably good. But our Bet365 picks are doing decent. That will surely change by the end of the week. Make sure to download the Bet365 app. Use the code ALLCITY when you sign up. Must be 21 plus and physically located in Colorado. Please gamble responsibly. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call or text 1-800-GAMBLER. Okay, so new investment in the PGA Tour. So once again, this is a little convoluted because it's the PGA Tour, but it's PGA Tour Enterprises, which is now above the PGA Tour in terms of the marketing money. And the new investors are, as our cover photo showed, LeBron and Drake, 2 of our favorites. Just kidding. LeBron is one of my least favorite athletes, except for the 1 year he played and went back to Cleveland, won them the title. That I was actually a big LeBron fan then. Now he's just a media darling that gets talked about all the time, and the Lakers suck. And maybe a hot take here. I don't like Drake's music.
Really?
Yeah, I'm not a fan.
See, Drake and LeBron are similar to me in the fact of like they had a similar character arc a little bit where they start off really well and a lot of people like them. And I still feel like Drake is really well liked within a certain community. Not everybody dislikes his new shit, but I feel like for me personally, his music at the beginning was much better. I liked his OG shit, and maybe it was just more of the music that fit the times. But now he's making the same shit that he was putting out 10 years ago, and it's just not near as good. Marissa's over here shaking her head. Let's hear your opinion on Drake's music.
His music back then was killer. Like it was
Yes.
probably the best. Like all of the rappers back in the day were like amazing.
Right.
Now he's whiny and complains about all the relationships that are failing in his life. They're a little slow.
So
For me.
are him and Taylor Swift the same person?
Yes.
Just different genres.
Yes, I
Okay.
dislike both.
Like Marvin's Room was very good. I'm trying to think of other albums.
Like I said, not a Drake fan. Definitely has a few bangers for sure.
Thank Me Later, is that an album? Thank Me Later, something later.
I'm never a fan of music that's like on the whiny side of relationships, which is a lot of country music, a lot of Drake's music. I hate The Weeknd. I hate Bruno Mars because it's all it is talking about like relationships, and I'm completely off board when it comes to that kind of music specifically.
Yeah, I mean, rappers only have a few topics to choose from, so it's either like FBGM or My Girl Left Me or, shit like that. There's hardly, there's not a lot of topics. But I will say our generation of rappers growing up was probably like the kids nowadays. I look at, and I know this sounds like an old man get off my lawn take, but I look at like the music charts today and I have no idea who any of these artists are. I'm like, and everybody's like Lil Baby, Da Baby, Small Baby, Big Baby. I don't know who the fuck any of these dudes are. I actually know Da Baby. I think I like some of his shit. Did he do Bop? And he has some shit with some bop in it.
Oh yeah,
that song fucking hits. I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, most of the artists nowadays are pretty shitty, if I'm being real. And it's really more now about just the sound. Like it's just background noise. And I guess a lot of rap, you know, there's certain guys like Eminem, who's just an absolute wordsmith, who's on another level, Lil Wayne, guys like that were actually making sense while they were rapping, and now it's just random words and a lot of like electric sounds, I feel like.
My favorite was when MGK decided he wanted to go toe to toe with like Eminem.
Yeah, what an
and
idiot.
he like tried very hard and
Here's actually a funny thing. Spencer loves Eminem, but he loved MGK's diss track on Eminem.
yeah, Kill
Really?
Shot. It's really good. It's actually fire.
it's on my workout list of
Okay.
like songs, but I like when they match and it's him and then Eminem comes in right after because he puts him to bed.
Yeah, Kill Shot by MGK is really good, but then Eminem, I forget what his diss track back to MGK is called. That also slaps. There's a few lyrics in there. I'm gonna look this up now because I want to know. But there's a few lyrics in there that absolutely slap. To back in relation to Eminem going back at
MGK. That makes sense.
And MGK just changed his whole like persona. There's a few artists that
Now
have
he's
done
like
that.
a punk rocker, isn't he? Or
Right.
like
You mixed it up. So Eminem's was Kill Shot,
Okay.
and then Machine Gun Kelly's is Rap Devil.
Rap Devil. Oh, that song is really good.
yeah, Spencer loved. I remember when that came out. Spencer loved that shit. But on the LeBron topic, I've heard a lot of his investments are not investments, but like I've heard about his school, and I don't just want to totally drag the dude, but I heard the school is terrible. And he says he is one of the most egotistical athletes I think I've ever seen, and everything is about him. And like his foundation built this school. It was funded by the state of Cleveland. Like you want to name a school after yourself, you pay for that shit. So, and I also heard that like none of the kids can read. Like, I'm not trying to say that as like a fucked up thing, but I heard none of them like pass the state minimum requirements to like move up grades and stuff. And he was touting it as like this academy where kids grow and learn and all this. And apparently they're not learning shit. And then now I guess LeBron is also opening his own basketball Hall of Fame in his honor, that his own family foundation is building about a kid from Akron. Like he has just gone so far over the line. And I'm honestly genuinely curious about, because it seems like the PGA Tour kind of brought in these investors similar to like Ryan Reynolds was brought in to do these deals with like Mint Mobile and Aviation Gin. Yeah, Aviation Gin, things like that, because he's a great spokesperson for the company. So I wonder if like LeBron and Drake and Lindsey Vonn are going to do anything similar with this, but I'd be curious to see what the money breakdown is, because obviously $3 billion is a shitload of money. And maybe LeBron, and I mean, you can't think LeBron's putting in, you know, he's probably worth close to $1 billion, but he's maybe putting in 50 to 100 million, if that, and maybe they're giving him more to be like a spokesperson. But
yeah, so it's part of a bigger group, the Fenway Sports Group, that's investing.
Okay, so
up
they're
to
just
$3 billion.
investors in the Fenway Sports Group.
Exactly. So
Okay.
Fenway Sports Group has other billionaires like Steve Cohen, Arthur Blank, and Mark Lazary. James and Drake are committed to additional capital as strategic investors and are expected to use the marketing power to help the tour broaden its audience. So this is all from a New York Times article, by the way.
See, that's smart. That's like a strategic partnership. Is that what you would call that?
Yeah. So they're,
Look at me
LeBron
now.
and Drake are hitting a very different audience and
Yes.
trying to bring that audience to the PGA Tour. Now, part of this investment as well, as we talked about before, is giving the players actual stake in the PGA Tour, but overall trying to invest in the product and make the product day to day and tournament to tournament overall better for viewership. And like Drake has a quote in here, quote, "Golf can be so much more than a sport. I remember some of my best childhood memories being on the golf course with my uncle. It's one thing to invest in a team, but to help reimagine one of the biggest leagues in the world is an incredible opportunity, and I'm excited to be a part of it." So they're coming into this as basically spokespeople, like you said.
Yeah.
Obviously, they're bringing financial backing to that as well, but there's also Chris Pratt's part of this, Maverick Carter, Rich Paul, Jeremy Zimmer, and Steve Stout, the founder of United Masters, and a longtime record and marketing executive. So they've got a lot of money behind this, and hopefully it gains, obviously, the PGA Tour and golf in general just more viewership, or people want to watch the tournament on a Sunday.
Yeah.
And granted, some of the product it's been putting out lately in
Well,
terms of leaderboards and stuff is not something that we as golf fans and people that listen, if you listen to this podcast, hopefully you're a golf fan. But the people that are coming new to the game don't know any better.
Yeah.
So, and they can definitely up the product by things like they've done mic'd up, walking down a hole. That's really cool content. Full Swing came out. That things like that are going to garner the game of golf more eyes on it and more money. And that's something that I think ultimately will help the product, but it'll help the players, which then in turn in a cycle helps the product get better. Because if the players get better, they get their name out there. Like guys like Jake Knapp, Austin Eckroat, hadn't 2 weeks ago, not a real ton of golf fans had heard about him. Now, when watching the tour this morning on ESPN Plus, they're showing Jake Knapp almost every swing.
Yeah.
So they're trying to lean into these newer, younger players that have just started to win. And I think that's the key to continue. Like if Jake Knapp, Scotty Scheffler was a nobody. And we're not the biggest Scotty Scheffler fans, but that has created, any pub is good pub in the media world, essentially. And whether, a lot of people love Scotty Scheffler and we just our hate for him is somewhat misplaced in terms of he just was so dominant. But the tour needs dominant athletes. If you have a new guy winning every single week, yes, you can dive into the stories of their lives and how they were nightclub bouncers or they did this for the last 2 years. And that's cool. But ultimately, you want the guys like the Victor Hovlands, the Rory McIlroys winning tournaments, because that's what grows. If Rory McIlroy and Scotty Scheffler are 1 and 2 going into a Sunday, that's going to garner a lot more viewership than Shane Lowry and David Skins going at it and shooting even par rounds like last week.
Oh, 100%. And here's actually an idea, too, that the NHL has done, the NBA. I don't think the NBA has done it, but other sports have done it. The NFL has definitely done it, is do an alternate broadcast of the PGA Tour with, like, could you imagine Drake and LeBron sitting in, I don't necessarily want to listen to LeBron, but could you imagine those two sitting down, like kind of watching the final round? Actually, like Drake and Peyton Manning would be awesome, or something like that. Getting somebody that knows golf but doesn't know golf just to commentate on, the guys' outfits, on the shots they hit and how crazy they are to the everyday human, like relative to what they're capable of, in their own game. I feel like that is something where golf could grow crazy, is getting these other media personalities involved in a broadcast, like bringing Drake into the booth, or bringing, Lindsey Vonn in, or other athletes and people who are very successful, bringing them into golf and getting their perspective on an actual broadcast. Because like you said, the product is the product right now, and they really can't change that until, they're making money and they're paying these guys a shitload, and then hopefully they're retaining players and they're not going to LIV. But ultimately, the way you're going to grow the game, like what we talked about, is just bringing in people from every walk of life into the game of golf. Like, who's that dude on Twitter? That black dude from like South Carolina that has just popped off, or not on Twitter, on TikTok.
RNG?
Yes.
Yeah. RNG has been huge for the YouTube side of golf. And that's where.
And now he's getting invited to like PGA Tour events, and things like that. I mean, that is so huge for the game of golf to capitalize in different markets. And like he was started out playing like all these little municipal golf courses and slicing it off the face of the earth and just messing around, and like his sound effects when he would hit a shot are freaking awesome. And that's really like what golf needs. Golf needs people from every different walk of life involved in order to really grow, because golf, you can only have so many trust fund fucking Brads and Chads out there rooting for the PGA Tour. You need other people to get involved to really globally turn this into a recognized game.
Yeah, and 90% of golf isn't what you see golf as. Like we've seen the whole spectrum of it, but 90% of golf is people going out and paying, just what they made this week to play their muni on a Saturday morning with their guys and having that standing tee time and getting out. It's not the high level.
Yeah, it's not the PGA Tour.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
And so the more that gets involved, and then eyes get to the, PGA Tour and YouTube golfers, like there's going to be that YouTube golf qualifier for a PGA Tour event coming up later this year. Which,
well, no, they just did it.
Or they just did that.
This was
passed.
Monday.
Oh,
but they're waiting for
that.
everybody's content to come out. They don't want to post like results or anything because they want to wait for everybody to be able to get their own content and put it out and shit like that.
Okay, we'll have to talk about that when it comes out, because
for sure,
that's awesome stuff. And some people hate it and think, oh, the guys that are grinding on the PGA Tour or Korn Ferry Tour or in between should have a chance at a spot. And the way it worked out, it sounded like they had to compete against guys still grinding for their Mondays. But the viewership of all those separate YouTube channels then being brought to
the
PGA Tour or I think, is it the Puerto Rico Open that they're ended up playing in like this weekend?
No, is that this weekend?
Yeah, Puerto Rico. It's it is
for the Puerto Rico. Yeah, it's for the Puerto Rico Open.
So somebody is either in that or had the chance to qualify for that, but they haven't. I mean, we could probably figure out if they qualified or not by looking at the leaderboard. But the content from that is then going to show, these YouTube golfers hit great shots, and that's what go viral. But over a consistent 18-hole round, these guys that nobody has even heard of doing their Monday qualifying are going to wipe the floor with all of these kids.
Right.
And dudes, whatever.
Yeah, 100%. Another thing I feel like would be good for the PGA Tour is getting all these different celebrities, like hitting shots somehow. Like not obviously on tour, but like in the Pro-Am, bringing out, like the Waste Management does a really good job of it with the Shot at Glory, because they bring out everybody. It doesn't matter how good you are at golf, but they need to do that, I think, more often, because if you've ever seen LeBron swing a golf club, it's like the worst thing I've ever seen in my life. And I think that would make so many other people feel more okay about getting into golf and being shitty at it, seeing an elite athlete like that suck at the game. Because the barrier to entry is definitely there. And when you see your favorite athlete from a different sport, because golf is the only sport that, you see these guys on the PGA Tour doing it, you can go out and do that tomorrow. Like, obviously in a different, setting or whatever, but how many guys are like, oh, I love Justin Jefferson, I'm going to go out and be a star receiver. Like, you're a fucking 33-year-old dude with a blue-collar job. You're not going to be able to go out and replicate that. But you can go watch a golf shot that, Max Homa or Scotty Scheffler or Victor Hovland hit and go out on the course the next day and try to replicate it. Like, that shit is more relatable for everybody, and that's what's going to get more people involved.
100%. Let's talk about people not being involved. We'll cycle this too. The LIV Golf Players will not be involved in this upcoming President's Cup in September. Thank you. So Mike Weir, who is the captain of the international team, he came out in an interview and basically said, quote, "We're going to do everything we can to make it feel like a real away game for them, the United States, and that's something I don't think they've ever seen." So he's Canadian, obviously, Mike Weir. He's the captain of the international team this year in the President's Cup that's going to be played at Royal Montreal Golf Club in September. Americans have dominated this. They actually, looking at this, they're 12-1-1 in the 14 playings of the President's Cup.
It's not much of a matchup, is it?
No, they lost in Australia in 1998, and they tied in South Africa in 2003. That's so lame. Ties are lame. That's one of the reasons I'm not a big fan of European football. But back in 2007, Mike Weir was actually a wild card selection by Captain Gary Player in the President's Cup and defeated Tiger Woods in the singles. Obviously, America President's Cup team, captained by Jack Nicklaus, they still won that President's Cup. But Mike Weir really wants to put a away game feel for the United States when they go to Canada.
Do you know what would give them a better away game feel is if they were playing the best international players in the world, like Cam Smith, like Joaquin Neiman, like all these dudes that are on the LIV Tour that he clearly doesn't want to let them take part. But it's just ridiculous. Like, it's the same thing with the PGA Tour broadcast. It's, you do all this shit like, oh, we want to do this to the golf course and really make it feel like an away game for the Americans. It's like, you know, the best thing to do to probably try to win is to have the best players on your team. Like, same with the PGA Tour. You do all this shit, you want to do all this to the broadcast to make money. Just have the best players in the world on the tour, and it's probably going to make money. So it just doesn't make any sense. I mean, I can't really make it make sense in my mind. So it's just a hill that all these old school dudes are willing to die on. And who they're really hurting is their own team. Like, I mean, who's really going to end up filling out this President's Cup team of international players that are, you know, non-LIV, that are high up in the world? Like, I guess we could go through it.
Well, so I've got, this is from 2022, or the 2022 playing of the President's Cup. So these were the qualifiers. There's a point system to automatically qualify. Number one on that list, Cameron Smith at 17.9 points. Then you have to go all the way down to under 8 points was Hideki Matsuyama. 3, Sungjae Im, and then 4 was Joaquin Neiman. And at the time, neither of them ended up playing in it because they had joined LIV Golf. Also in that top 8, which were the automatic qualifiers before any President's Cup captain's pick selections, was Mito Pereira at number 8. So
Okay.
Mito hadn't joined LIV at the time, so he actually played in it. But then also going down to 15 and 17, Anirban Lahiri and Mark Leishman, now also both on the LIV Tour. So Cameron Smith and Joaquin Neiman are two of the best international non-European players in the entire world.
Yeah.
And they're not going to play in this. And like you said, you can do all you want to make it feel like you haven't gotten your ass kicked for 14 of these playings. But when you don't have the best players on the golf course, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how sick your home court advantage is. If the Nuggets don't have Jamal Murray and Michael Porter Jr. and Nikola Jokic, they're not winning many games, no matter how great the atmosphere is at Ball Arena.
Exactly. And that's ultimately, people want to see the best possible product. And that's what everybody's missing out on. And that's why ratings are not going to be great. Nobody wants to watch America boat race the international team again. Like, that's why the Ryder Cup has so much pull, because it's so competitive year in, year out. And even the US gets dominated, unfortunately, more often than not. But how many Canadians do we think? Because Mike Weir's Canadian, obviously.
Corey Connors will be in it. He was in it
do we
last
think
2
Corey
years ago.
Connors, Adam Hadwin, Nick Taylor? Nick Taylor's got to be in it after he won last year. Adam Hadwin, I don't see any of those 3 being left out.
No, I think they'll do all they can to get the most Canadians on the team.
Yeah.
And those are probably top 25 players in the PGA Tour right now as it stands.
It's going to be like Canada and Asia handshake trying to win the President's Cup.
Yeah, like Hideki, Sungjae will be there again.
Tom
Kim will be there. And then looking at this, like Christian Bezuidenhout, he's been playing good golf. He was a captain's pick for the last President's Cup.
He's on LIV.
Is he?
I think so.
No, he's not. He was hitting shots today. He's been hitting shots in the PGA Tour.
Oh, has he?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Maybe
the name
that was
sounds like it.
Yes, that was another name. When Adrian Moronk went, there was another dude that went that I forgot his name. But Adam Scott's got to be a captain of that at some point. Is there any other because it's like Cameron Smith and Mark Leishman. Is there any other Australians? Like, who's that dude that you fucking hate? I guess he's on LIV, so you can't really even count it. But Cam Smith's teammate. That's just an absolute
Oh.
plug on the back end of the.
I don't think I think he got relegated, but
What was his
I
name?
hate him so much that I
Can't remember his name.
yeah. He looks like Keegan Gaddotti, one of our friends. Yeah, no, he's
I mean, Australia really doesn't. They used to put out like a pretty good product of golfers, and now you've got Mark Leishman, Cam Smith, and that's really it. Yeah, who's on Ripper GC right now?
Ripper GC is Cameron Smith.
Thank you,
Lucas Herbert, who is also
That's who jumped. That's who it was. Lucas Herbert.
Leishman, and then Matt Jones. Oh man,
Matt Jones is actually a pretty solid player too. I think he's played in some President's Cups. I forgot he's from Australia. But yeah, just thinking of where else, obviously a lot of Asia and China and Japan. There's going to be quite a few players there, but other than that, really nobody from South America that I can think of. Or
Jediah Morgan.
Oh yeah,
fucking Jedediah.
he was an absolute.
He finished dead
fourth
last.
line plug.
He finished dead last in the tournament that we went to last year in Oklahoma.
We watched him hit golf shots, and I
thought it was a high school tournament for a little while.
When you like jokingly armchair quarterback it and be like, I could have caught that pass, whatever. We were at the LIV event, and I was like, I could have hit that shot. Like he was behind a tree, and then he just fucked himself even further. He hit an even worse shot, and just seemed so unbothered. Like I would take a couple million to slap it around and shoot 80. Duh, who wouldn't? But yeah, overall, President's Cup is going to be a fucking turd fest again, because it usually is, even when the internationals are at full strength, and it's just going to get even worse now. So the product of golf continues to lose out because of this LIV situation.
100%. And hopefully they figure it out. Obviously, with the power of Rory McIlroy being able to do kind of whatever he wants in terms of the Ryder Cup, they're going to have Rahm there.
Be the puppet master.
Yeah, they're going to have the Ryder Cup's going to be full strength with the actual best players. And this will all kind of shake out a little bit more, I think, as this year's Masters rolls around, which is only about 6 to 7 weeks away now, or not even that. No, it's like about a month away. So we're about 4 or 5 weeks away from the first major, and seeing Joaquin Niemann play, seeing Jon Rahm play, and kind of whether or not they prove it, Brooks Koepka, they've proved it in the years past, but the fact that they're on the LIV Tour and it's quote unquote exhibition golf by some people, that they're still in the same form, they're still the best players in the world. And that'll all come to fruition when a LIV player inevitably wins the Masters this year. I'm calling that out right now. But
did we discuss this? Are sportsbooks going to offer a LIV versus PGA Tour basically a LIV player to win the Masters? Are they going to offer odds on that?
You would think that with like 4 of the top 8 or 9 guys in the field being LIV players in terms of odds to win the event, that there would be some sort of special in terms of that for both the Masters and the PGA Championship is probably not one of those, but the Open Championship will be one of those for sure. Because there's guys that most of the players, like I said, in the Masters field, I think LIV, if you just did a straight up LIV or PGA Tour player, it would be LIV would be favored.
Probably because they have more of the top end talent.
And they have guys that have won it multiple times,
right.
So, and including the defending champion.
Yes, you're correct. Well, so do we have anything else, Eric? Should we move on to our unwritten rules of golf?
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about that. So the first thing that I saw that kind of sparked this idea was a Twitter post, and it was a guy that had 2 feet for birdie, which is normally a gimme. But one of my unwritten rules of golf is if you're putting for a natural birdie, an actual birdie, you have to make that putt in order to say you had a birdie.
Yeah, to obviously write down a birdie, like if it can be conceded by your playing partners as like for match purposes, but in order to write down that you actually had a birdie, then yes, you have to make that putt. Another one of those is like breakfast ball. Not necessarily a breakfast ball, but I think it's kind of an unwritten thing that if you go out with no warm up and you're not playing for anything serious, like hit a second one off the first tee, and it's not going to get held against you. Also, one unwritten rule for me is people when like we're not playing for something or we're just playing a match and my score doesn't matter. I don't need you to write down my score for me if I'm not keeping my own score. That bugs the shit out of me when people do that. They're like, "Did you have a 6 there?" I'm like, "Yeah, what does it matter? Like I either won or lost the hole. I'm not trying to put this in. I'm not trying to enter my handicap round for the day. I don't care what I made. I'm either winning the match or I'm losing the match. Where do you stand on that?"
Yeah, in match play specifically, it kind of goes into one of my unwritten rules of like asking somebody what they had or just being score stickler when you're not playing in a tournament,
Yeah.
obviously, because that matters.
Well, and people will do the thing where they know what you had, but they'll ask you what you had anyway, just to fucking throw a little salt in the wound even further when they know you had a bad hole. And that bugs the absolute shit out of me. Like I think I've told people, I'll be like, you know what I had. You watched me do it. Like
You watched me make 8. You fucking
you
know.
watch me make triple, okay? Fucking write it down and move on.
Yeah, let's play the next hole.
Yeah, that bugs the shit out of me.
Another thing that bugs the shit out of you, and it kind of bugs the shit out of me too, but it's just you have to be very careful where you place it, is talking to someone else's golf ball. You hate when my mouth is on your ball 100% of the time.
Oh, and I hate when I do it to other people, like unintentionally. I'll be like, "Oh, get up," and then it fucking flies the green, and I'm like, God, I should have just shut my mouth. I mean, I've wanted to say that to myself on more than one occasion and more than just the golf course. But yeah, that when people talk to my golf ball for me, I'm like, fucking get your mouth off my ball. Like,
Yeah.
that is one of the best lines I ever heard on the golf course. Like, that is some savage shit.
Yeah, Mitchell hates when you talk to his golf ball, but I think Mitchell and I's eyes are actually different. Like, we both have very good eyes.
Dude.
But Mitchell talks to my golf ball or tells me that I did something with that, a certain shot, and it's factually incorrect. I can see my ball moving right to left.
No.
And you're like, oh, nice cut there. And I'm like, no, that's fact. Our eyes have to be fucked up, or we just simultaneously know that each other would be annoyed when we say something to each other. So I feel like you do that to me a lot. I normally
think
don't
you've
care.
had too many energy drinks in your life, dude. I think your eyes are fucked up because I've watched you blatantly hit like a 2-yard fade, and you're like, "How'd you like that draw?" I'm like, "What? What are you looking at, dude?" Like, it blows my mind on some of the shit that you think you see, and you know, it's okay. It's not your fault. Your eye is just untrained as opposed to my eye. So that's not that's not on you for not knowing as much as me. You know, I can't discount you for that.
That's fucked up. Completely incorrect. And like the funny part is whether or not, like, I'm not doing it to argue. I legitimately see it as a fact.
No,
and you
I know.
legitimately see it as a fact.
But if
one of us is wrong.
I know, exactly. If we put a tracer on it, one of us would be wrong. But like, I feel like you just like to comfort yourself by saying like, "Oh, I hit a draw there," because you like to, you know, you're proud of your ability to work the ball, which you work it one way, and that's right. But occasionally you get one working right to left, and you're like, you're very proud of that. So I don't necessarily like want to bring you down. I just want you to be aware of what you're actually doing.
Yeah, well, thank you for making me aware.
I'm
clearly not self-aware, but sometimes I'll hit like not bad golf shots, but like something I wasn't intentionally trying to do just to prove it to you. Like I'll hit a 75-yard hook just to say, "Hey, that fucking hooked. Did you see that?"
Yes.
Make sure you're aware that I can actually hit a ball that moves right to left occasionally.
Another unwritten thing for me is like where people park their carts. Like if you are just that asshole that pulls up to like the first spot to park your cart, and I'm say like around the back of the green, and I have to like go around you, or if there's curbs or whatever, and I can't go around you, like park your cart where everybody is benefited from. Like that's why you have a golf cart. Otherwise, I didn't fucking sign up to walk the course. That's why I'm in this golf cart right here. Let me pull somewhat close to my ball so I can go hit it in a timely manner, instead of like old dudes when we would, this guy, Fred Blanchfield, would just pull his entire bag off the golf cart and walk over to his ball because he didn't know what club he needed. And that shit it's like, what's the point in riding in a cart at that point? Why are you even in a cart? So that bugs me.
Yeah, you're the aware police, and you're also the cart police occasionally.
Another unwritten rule is giving people numbers on the tee box. Like if you're the first one to shoot it, you share with the group. But I would say the unwritten rule too is I could hear you say a number and I still want to see it for myself.
Really?
Yeah.
See,
somebody tells me, I'm like, I don't fucking believe this guy. I don't think this is real.
There's occasional times when we're playing a new golf course where the sight lines really fuck you up, and
yes,
the
where
depth perception
400
is like,
yard hole looks like it's 800 yards.
Yeah, exactly. And even there's courses I've played multiple times. One that comes to mind is Overland Park here in Denver.
Yeah. There's
a few holes where I'm like, this got to be par 5, and I've played it 5 times. And I know it's like and I hit a drive and I'm like 120 in, but from the tee it's so deceiving. But for me, I would rather not get my rangefinder out, so I'll take anything as gospel. Like you could straight up lie to me and I'd probably just believe you.
Yeah.
If I like think that it's wrong, I will. But to me, that's annoying when even if you're playing, like if it's us playing with 2 people we don't know and somebody goes up and shoots it, I don't feel the need to go up and shoot it. And when I have 2 people up there doing it, I'm like, that's.
But see, this goes back to another one of our unwritten rules between the 2 of us is when you and I play together, I am your caddy and I also am playing golf with you. Like you look to me for a number. You legitimately need a personal assistant in every walk of life.
I do.
Because you think that I'm your fucking maid on the golf course. Like you're leaving your shit everywhere. You're asking for numbers. You're asking for reads. And me personally, like I never want your help because we already talked about your eyes. I don't know. We're seeing 2 totally separate things, but that is like an unwritten rule for us is you're going to look to me for numbers and for reads and for all that. And I'm somehow going to try to play decent golf and also help you play. I'm fucking shouldering the entire load out there.
Yeah. I am in your backpack when we play golf. Before we get out of here, we are going to do Fairway 4, but also Marissa, our producer, she's awesome. She got some golf trivia questions. She asked me a few yesterday. I was pretty stumped, but Mitchell's kind of the golf knower on this podcast. So
we're going to go with like 3. Let's just do 3.
All right, 3 it is. We're gonna hop in with 3 trivia questions.
Is there levels of difficulty? Just all one?
Okay. Yeah. Let's just see how good you are.
All right.
All right. First one. What city was the 1999 Ryder Cup held at? Boston, Houston, or Washington?
That was Boston. That was the country club.
Correct.
That was the infamous where they had all their super horrible fucking shirts on. That was when Justin Leonard hit that 50-footer. God, that gets me fired up just thinking about it.
God damn, you are pretty fucking
bing bong.
Yeah. Bing bong. 1 for 1.
All right. Are you answering too?
No. If I feel like I know it, I'll speak up.
Okay.
All right. Ricky Fowler. Oh,
sorry. Go ahead.
Ricky Fowler throws his golf shoes away after every round. True or false?
False.
Correct.
That seems like a dumb thing. Knowing me, like I hold on to golf shoes for years because I have such fucked up feet. Once they're worn in, I gotta wear them forever. I'm sure Ricky's got regular feet, but that just seems unnecessary. All right, last one.
All right, who is the Golden Bear?
It's Jack Nicklaus.
Oh yeah,
that was an easy one.
I had that one.
Yeah, oh, well done.
My first set of clubs was a Golden Bear little fucking mini set.
Yeah, those were sick back in the day. I had Dunlops. I remember those with the yellow D. Hit me with one more, Marissa.
All right. What female golfer's high school nickname was Taco? Beatrice Ricari, Nancy Lopez, Tanya. Oh, I don't know how to.
I'm going to say it was Nancy Lopez.
You are correct.
Bang bong. No, I mean I would just assume. Nancy
are you
Lopez.
Are you gonna go down that road?
No, no, I probably shouldn't go down that road. But Nancy Lopez, I feel like is the most well known of those women named. So that's why I went there.
Sure.
Shut up. You don't even know how to speak Spanish, okay? Donde está biblioteca?
Como se dice?
Como se dice? All right, let's do our Fairway 4.
All right, my Fairway 4 this week is basically I believe that, and I actually eat this way, that breakfast is 100% okay. Not breakfast food. We already had this discussion, this debate.
Okay.
But to me, the second 11 o'clock hits, that's the prime time where I can start drinking soda, switch to lunch foods, etc. If it's before 11, I'm all in on breakfast and being open. Like the other day, I went to go get Chick-fil-A breakfast, and it was like 10:31, and they were already closed.
Chick-fil-A breakfast, personal opinion, because I know you guys love it.
Yeah,
I think it's dog shit. I've gotten food poisoning from that. I'm not trying to ruin Chick-fil-A's business model here because I know what I say affects their business, but okay, here's another side one real quick. Chicken is not a breakfast food.
No, I agree with that. I still like their grilled
Like-
breakfast sandwich with like a little different bun and some egg on it. It's fine to me.
See, chicken is Marissa.
I mean, you're asking the wrong person. I don't like eggs, and I love lunch for breakfast. So,
Yeah,
Okay.
see, you're a sicko. Like
You eat like a ham sandwich for breakfast?
like if we go to a restaurant and it's still breakfast time, I'll get lunch.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, that's crazy. That's what I'm talking about here. Is also on the other side of the coin, like breakfast later. Yeah, that can be argued. But if you're eating like lunch food at 10 a.m., that's fucking psycho. Shit
Yeah.
to me. Like
No,
if you're eating, let's say a fucking Reuben or something, or a what is the word? Like not a Philly cheesesteak, but a French dip, and you're eating that before 11 a.m. That's actually
Psycho.
crazy to me. like I wait. Like I'll watch the clock, and even drinking things. That's how I am. Before 11 a.m.
Yeah.
Like I can't have my Starry Zero, no free shout outs, before 11 a.m. or my Coke Vanilla Zero before 11 a.m. Once
Yeah.
11 a.m. hits, I feel like it's open season for lunch foods,
Yeah.
drinks for the rest of the day. But before 11 a.m., I'm very juice breakfasty kind of guy.
Very juicy juice. On the other side of that coin, if it's like after, I would say 11's my like cutoff time to order coffee somewhere. Like I will not order coffee after 11.
Coffee for me is between 11 and 2 to 3 p.m. I'm out. But after
Yes.
3, I'll dive back in.
Okay, yeah, I think that's fair. I would probably agree. But yeah, I need to have a cup of coffee, or I'm either drinking coffee or I'm not by 10:30. Like that's my cutoff. But no, that's a completely Fairway for me. Everybody at one point or another though has like brought their lunch to work with them. Like when we used to work at the golf course, when we'd get there at 6 a.m., I would have my full lunch eaten by like 8:30 in the morning.
Yeah, that shit's
And
crazy.
so that doesn't necessarily count because it's just the food that I brought with me. Like I'm not packing, oh, this is my before 11 a.m. food. It's like, this is just fucking something for me to put in my mouth.
No,
right
see,
now.
I'm 100% doing that. I'm packing something that I can eat up until 11 a.m. And then once 11 a.m. hits, I'm like, all right, cool. It's time to have lunch.
That's
I'm ready to
fair.
roll.
Yeah. And I think on the other side of that, juice is an only morning thing. Like if you're drinking cranberry juice at 3 p.m., you got to be 75 years old plus. Like
Yeah.
that's wild to me.
Or
Actually crazy.
you're trying to pass a drug test.
Yeah. Been there. Done that.
All right, your Fairway or Fore?
My Fairway or Fore has to do with no free shout outs like they need it. Gatorade Zero. Because Gatorade Zero is an elite hungover. Like it is. I've never been a big Pedialyte guy. I think it's disgusting. I think it's like baby food. I don't know. It just seems very babyish to me. It's super like salty. And just maybe it's the label. I don't know. I just can't really wrap my head around Pedialyte. So Gatorade Zero is always the go-to.
Yeah, and I'm glad you said Gatorade Zero. To me, it's actually crazy that people drink something
Our
that
entire
has like
childhoods.
60 grams of sugar
Yeah.
in it.
And they sell it as a sports drink.
Yeah.
Like it's supposed to enhance performance. Like I get, you want some electrolytes in there. You need some sodium, but just 60 grams of sugar. It's like, why don't you just drink a fucking Coca-Cola for fuck's sake? But anywho, my favorite flavor of Gatorade Zero, and I think we both fall in the same spot, and just Gatorade in general, is lemon lime. Lemon lime is the GOAT Gatorade. I don't think there's any two ways about it. And I think you like it when you're sick. Is that correct?
Yeah, to me, it's like a refresher. I love pairing a lemon lime Gatorade with a citrus Zin. That is absolute perfect pairing.
That's
match made in
That's
heaven.
next level thoughts. there.
But yes, Gatorade Zero flavor, lemon lime is at the top. The red, I couldn't find the red Gatorade Zero for a long time. I order mine off Amazon now and just get them auto delivered. Adam Maria said I'm like living in 2040, like with some of the shit that I get auto delivered, mainly Gatorade Zero. But lemon lime, I did outwardly tell you because I have a whole bunch of Gatorade Zero. I
Yeah.
said you can drink any of those except for the lemon lime because I only have 4 of them and I pick and choose my spots when I drink them. But I also with Gatorade Zero,
you're such a fucking unique creature, dude.
this goes back to my Fairway or Fore. Gatorade Zero, I can drink lemon, lime, and orange before 11 a.m. Any of those, other than those, I'm not drinking them before 11 a.m.
Yeah, that's
It's like almost like a juice taste to me.
That's a weird take.
Those are the only two flavors.
See, another weird take that you're into that I am out on is drinking. I don't think Sprite or Starry or anything is a soda that you just drink regularly. I think it's a soda you drink when you're sick. That's it. Like, I've never been like, oh, I just want a Sprite right now.
I think about that every day.
See,
I want a Starry
Marissa,
Zero
what do you
every day
think?
when I go home.
I never had Starry, but I also
It's basically 7-Up.
when I get sick, I just do ginger ale. So
See, but that's yeah.
Then you're sugaring it out.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about that, but like for us, if you drink fucking 10 ginger ales, we're gonna have an extra roll.
Diabetes runs in the family. We can't be fucking hammering those ginger ales.
well, here's the thing. It also between Sprite, I tend to have a weak stomach whenever I'm sick. Like that's just just in general, I have a weak stomach. So ginger ale
Soft.
tends. I know I'm a little bitch. Tends to
soft.
Anyway, tends to be better for stomach.
It calms down your tum-tum.
It does.
Yeah, ginger ale is notably that's why people drink it on the airplane because it's good for your stomach.
Yeah, I just can't do the sugar. Jameson and ginger ale. Now that I can get behind.
Yes, that's so good for your stomach and your health.
Well, I'm not
whiskey
thinking
ginger
about my
does
stomach when
hit.
I'm drinking at a bar. That's that's my last issue.
I think we can end it on that.
Yeah, let's fucking wrap her up. Follow us on all social medias at Big Drive Energy on TikTok and Twitter, at Big Drive Energy Pod on Instagram. If you're watching us on the YouTube, hit us with a thumbs up. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Big Drive Energy Golf, as well. We'll be churning out content. We got majors coming up soon, all 4 of them. We got the 5th major, the stepbrother major. Next week, I believe, is the Players already.
Oh, yeah, the 5th major. Okay.
Yeah, the 5th major.
I thought you were talking about the PGA Championship.
No.
Nobody gives a baker's fuck about that.
Yeah, exactly. But those are all coming up. We'll have a ton of content for you guys all this summer. We'll be getting on the golf course a little bit more here consistently starting soon when the weather gets better. We got a lot coming up for you, so make sure you subscribe to that YouTube channel. Click that subscribe button. We appreciate you all tuning in. We'll talk to you next week. Have a great weekend. Enjoy the Arnold Palmer Invitational, or if you're a real sicko and watching the Puerto Rico Open.
And the LIV tournament.
And LIV Hong Kong.
Yes, sir.
Oh, we didn't mention real quick, just so it's out there. Picks for LIV Hong Kong. Mitchell's got Cameron Smith. I've got Bryson DeChambeau. They're playing a 6,700-yard course. They should tear it up.
Love to see it.
Love to see it. Have a great weekend.
Peace.
Peace.